Hello and welcome to Anime Recapped. Today we'll be covering episodes 5 to 8 of the anime Bluelock. This is the second of 6 parts. Lay back and enjoy the recap. Isagi and Nico seem to be the same when it comes to gameplay, which helps Isagi to judge each and every move he makes. The game continues to progress and Isagi intercepts all the balls played to Nico, so he can't help his team by making a clear way. Team Z was trying their best to score in the next timeline, but Team Y still had something else planned for them. Team Y started running towards the goal post of Team Z, which overwhelmed everyone in Team Z. Nico used that to his advantage and goes one-on-one against the goalkeeper of Team Z, but instead of shooting, Nico passes to Okawa so he can score the goal for the team. However, the ball gets intercepted by Isagi since he knew he would have done the same in that position, so he proceeds to pass the ball ahead to Bachira, which ultimately creates an opportunity of getting the ball himself. Isagi then scores an atrocious goal, getting his team the first win in the series. They all finally celebrate the winning by enjoying 2 steaks for the 2 goals they had scored in the match. Even after winning the match, Isagi couldn't sleep at night, so he gets up to see the footage from the game and finds Chidri in the camera room doing the same. Chidri tells Isagi that he has the ability of awareness which most players don't have in themselves. Isagi thinks that perhaps Chidri is right, but when Chidri is asked about his own special skill, he doesn't want to reveal it yet again. Instead, he reveals his story of tearing his ankle and finding an excuse to stop playing the game. Isagi tries encouraging the man for his skills and spirit, but Chidri ignores him completely while walking away. The next day, Ego announces the new rankings based on their performance, which marked Isagi as the best player among his teammates. But the rankings also predicted that if Team Z loses the next match against Team W, they will be in great trouble. All they had to do was polish their skills together to move forward to their next destination. While planning for their next match against Team W, Isagi and his team realize that if the opposition loses the match, just like them, they are done for the journey, which increases the risk even more. Goalkeeper of the Team Z tries explaining the strategy as he knows the 2 main players from the opposition team, Keisuke Wanima and his older brother Junichi Wanima, are popular for their extraordinary coordination skills. So, they plan to stop the link between the 2 brothers to win the game, and Kuon arrived in the middle, adding that they must keep 3 main forwards while rotating every 30 minutes in the game. The next day, Team Z is ready and fired up to play the game against Team W to secure their spot. The 2 leading brothers from Team W start the game quite skillfully and continue to overwhelm Chidri while manipulating his mind due to his weak ACL. Seeing the trouble, Isagi rescues the ball in time while keeping the defense indestructible, and with the significant efforts made by everyone in the Team Z, Kuon was able to secure 3 amazing goals before heading into halftime. Everything was going too perfectly according to their experience in the previous matches. The second half finally began and Yoichi, Bachira and Kuon were moved at the front while keeping the defense solid. To change the game, however, the leading brothers from Team W dropped to midfield, and by stealing the ball swiftly from Kuon while racing past everyone, they made their first goal for the team. Kuon considers it to be their one-time mistake and continues to build the team's confidence, but yet again the brothers score another goal by breaking the defense in the middle. Isagi realized something was wrong since all the previous goals were made by Kuon with the plans he made, and Isagi couldn't find any scope by using his spatial awareness. In the defense, Kuon purposely misses a header which gets the score at 3-3. Isagi realized that the whole team was betrayed by Kuon and that he planned with the 2 leading brothers in Team W, so they finally came clean about it. Kuon made the plan in order to survive in the Blue Lock alone, as he had no trust in his own team's abilities, and the game became 12 against 10 instantly. After identifying the disadvantage, Team W scores yet another goal and takes the lead, making the score 4-3, and the entire Team Z was astonished and confused on what to do right now since they have very little time to score the next goal. Team Z had another disadvantage against them, which was all their tactics getting revealed to Team W. Even with Isagi's special ability, he can't make any moves since all of the movement from his teammates are now blocked. This time Kuon tries to score against his own team, but Lemon stops the goal from happening. Only 5 more minutes were left. The anxiety started crippling Chidri as each moment passed, and he remembers the time back in his childhood when he used to dominate the leading brothers from Team W, but his spirit was shackled off by the tragedy of him tearing down his ACL. As the doctors told him that if there was another similar incident again, he would never be able to play again. After that, he was never able to achieve his full speed ever again, as if he had heavy chains holding him down inside his own mind. Final 3 minutes were added to the game, so it was now or never. Isagi makes a desperate attempt to score a goal but fails in the end. Chidri finally realizes that Isagi is just like how he used to be, putting everything he has got into football, and suddenly the spirit comes back to him. To use the final chance to recover the team, Chidri makes the run for it, which Isagi realizes and makes a long pass towards the goal line. While the whole Team W including Kuon is confident that it is just a wasted effort, their eyes get wide open when they notice Chidri racing to the ball. Even the keeper of Team W was unable to stop the goal from happening as Chidri manages to get a small kick with his toe and score the goal in the very final moments. The game was tied, and the final whistle was blown, but elsewhere, Team V has achieved another victory with their opposition. Team W gets pissed at Kuon for not revealing Chidri's ability to them, but Isagi puts an end to their torments. It seems that Kuon still hasn't changed and offered leaking information to Team V, but instead, he gets insulted by them as they believed in their own team spirit. The next team meeting started by getting the bad news. Team W had drawn their last game that was played against Team Y. So, now they have to compete against Team V in order to qualify, which alone was an intimidating target in front of them. But not only that, the team has one less man now, considering the ability of Team V when it came to scoring goals was ruthless. Kuon still refuses to play for the team as he is already the top scorer and doesn't need to pay much attention anymore. Even if Team Z loses, he still gets selected just like that. So, as usual, Lemon explains the ability of the most vicious players from Team V. The dangerous trio had already scored 18 goals in 3 of the games. On the other hand, Nagi from Team V is back from training earlier than the other teammates in the team since he doesn't need to train that much anymore, and Mikage seems to agree with that statement. Next scene takes us back to a flashback where we get to see that only 6 months ago, Mikage, despite being the only son of a rich businessman, after stumbling upon football, decides to chase the sport to prove himself to his parents. To challenge his parents, he started making ideas, and just at the right time, he then stumbled upon the potential football genius that he had ever seen in his whole life. Even though Nagi was a genius, he had no mere interest in playing football since he wanted to live a slacker's life. So, Mikage promises him to give him a luxurious life if he becomes the best footballer ever, for his own reason. In the dressing room of Team Z, Kuon still didn't want to take part in the next game, and Ego then reveals that despite being a cheater, Kuon was still the best ranked player out of all of them in Team Z, but gets his spirits crushed by Ego himself. Ego continues to explain that Team Z needs to analyze how, when and under what circumstances their skill made the difference in their victory, and only after mastering these constantly, they can advance further. After getting frustrated by the whole incident, Isagi goes to the practice field and sees Baru practicing, the man who had already scored most goals in the whole building. Isagi tries to see if he can get help from his knowledge, but he starts to humiliate Isagi. After training with Baru, Isagi realizes that Baru is the man who has mastered and perfected his technique, understanding that the power of Baru lies within the long-range shots of his. Even though Isagi tries to stop him after finding out about his technique, he fails miserably, but thanks Baru in the end for clearing his head and helping him. The game begins the next day, and Team Z is well prepared considering the matter related to their previous match. Team Z manages to stop Mikage and Nagi dribble passing them and restricts Zantetsu getting a shot from the long range. With the help of Isagi, Kagamaru gets the ball from a long pass, who then makes a header but misses for a slight miscalculation. The play changes when the ball lands on Mikage's feet, who then takes a long shot after having a glance at Nagi. Even though the ball was overplayed, that ended up getting released by the whole Team Z, but Nagi scored the goal out of nowhere, which literally proved the performance difference between the two teams.